We have Bitcoin versus the dollar, and we'll be doing a general overview on this one as Bitcoin does put in one more swipe of the lows, as we did say was likely yesterday at around the $40,000 region, now bouncing up as well as we said was likely yesterday as well. So where am I essentially looking for to today? Well, short-term timeframes are in a bit of a bouncy posture right now. Hourly can trade all the way up to anywhere around 43,000 bucks with no problem. However, I do suspect that Bitcoin probably has one more downside move after that. Not necessarily to new lows just yet. I'm not necessarily of that opinion right now, but I do think that Bitcoin can very easily test around its current lows, somewhere around about 41,000 bucks. So a very similar analysis actually to the past couple days. Hang around the lows, but very likely bounce from there. Even if Bitcoin is going to break lower over time, which I think is certainly possible here. I don't think it happens today is what I'm trying to say. Looking at this chart over here, I do want to bring up something rather important. First and foremost, well, I wouldn't say it's first and foremost, but very important right here. We do see that Bitcoin is grabbing on to the bottom side of the 200 bands right now. If Bitcoin does close above there, which is currently 41,000 bucks, again, I might look for one more test down around there, but I'd be looking for a local low around there as well. And Bitcoin very likely puts in a rally somewhere into the mid $43,000 territory, perhaps even as high as 44,500. However, I do retain, continuation of trend and bearishness as long as Bitcoin's below 44.5. That was being based off of the closure on Sunday below 47.5. That's where it became bearish as this became a confirmed local high. And well, the rest is history. Now, with that said, a few other things kind of supporting that we are within a bouncy bounce territory. The PMRP right here is down at the same levels that we typically do see some nice bounces from. Now, it can hit the lower band of this, which is significantly lower, to be fair. But that really only happens, or we really only see that happen when Bitcoin gets into like these mega moves right here. Could we be looking at one, currently speaking? Maybe, yes. I mean, it's definitely possible. But for example, the last time we saw this right here into that deeper portion was in, mid to late May on that massive dump from 60 all the way down to 30, right? It did produce a phenomenal bounce pretty much right off the get-go. But if we are talking about the more shallow version of that, well, we do have several examples obviously right here. This one putting in a pretty nice bounce of about 25 to 30% or so. We have an example right here. This one essentially getting the lows of the prior accumulation in January of this year. This one, moving up for a 100% move over the course of a month or two. Not always going to be like that, obviously. This one over here, obviously getting the lows. This one a little bit more sluggish, getting off the lows, but immediately about 15 to 20%. And then over time, about 100%. And then just continuation from there as well. The time before that we got into this region was obviously in coronavirus dump times of last year, and over here as well on this mega bounce here too. Now, of course, you will notice that not all of these are like reversals. They're not. It's not calling a reversal. It's calling a bounce. That's kind of where I'm at right now on this chart. So if I were to go back on over here, essentially as long as Bitcoin is below, let me just pull up this chart right here, is below, of course, our 44.5 level. Especially coming into the end of this week, I will be looking for a long-term continuation of the downside. However, do I think Bitcoin's gonna have a chance to test around there? Probably sometime this week. Yes, I do. The question is, do we close above there or not? If Bitcoin fails to close above there, then, I'll just be looking for general continuation of the downside, somewhere down around our last prior major low in early August, actually, at about 38,000 bucks before the next daily bounce. Also going to be in line with the 236 Fibonacci retracement right here as well. Currently speaking, though, we do see a bounce of the 382. Well, again, I do think we could have one more run at 41,000 bucks. I do expect that we will see at the very least a bounce up to about 43.5 to 44.5 first before anything else, and then decide probably over the weekend if I had to guess. Is there anything else that I want to get on? Yes, of course, short-term timeframes showing some short-term upside. 41,400, the magical number on the on the hourly to keep momentum oscillators up. 4-hour will actually be popping down with any sort of closure below 42,120, but we are actually above that region right now with an hour and 3 minutes left to go. 12-hour, where are we at? Going to be down as long as below 46.2, not looking good, and daily will be down as long as below about 44 right there, which is actually rather interesting. So if Bitcoin can start close above 44, I said 44.5 earlier, but maybe we could move this down to 44. That'll start to look good for at least a move back up somewhere around about 46,000 bucks or so, and then come back to it after that. But for right now, there is a lot of opportunity, especially on the short-term time frames. That's kind of where I have my own, where I'm focused myself. Short-term timeframes, again, very likely, short-term move up here, maybe somewhere around 43 to 43.5. And then I'd probably be looking for maybe one more swipe of the lows somewhere down between 41 and 42. And that's where I'd be expecting like the actual bounce, maybe like early tomorrow or sometime around, around market close. Anyways, with that said, speaking of regular marks right here, should another sort of feature or thing that I'm looking for that essentially does suggest that we probably bounce first here from this region is of course on Nasdaq. Bitcoin likes to trade with the tech sector, obviously, and this one's in a bouncy posturing. Now, I'm not saying that this chart looks phenomenal right now, obviously, but it is in a bouncy posturing. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one test somewhere around 15,250 or so, and that probably does bode well for Bitcoin in the short and medium term here. So again, it depends what time frame you're looking at, obviously, but for right now. Oh, and I also forgot one more thing as well. And also, it should be known that we are bouncing off the medium band of the Gaussian channel right here on the 5-day, and that is to be expected. Now, of course, we do start to break below it, which is $40,000. Then, well, we'll look at a run to the downside of it. But typically speaking, once you get to the medium band, you do get at least a pity bounce, like you saw right here, like you saw right here, like you saw right here, and like you saw right here, of which we are kind of doing that right now. So I'd give it a chance first. See where we close out at the end of the day. Hey, if Bitcoin closes above $44,000 today, that would look pretty damn good. That actually looked pretty damn good. But for right now, it is pressure on, of course, and short term bouncy. Give it a chance, see what happens around daily closure, and then come back tomorrow and see where we're at. So hopefully that was helpful. I'm gonna be signing off now. I want to wish you well. Take care, and until next time.